But then why are doctors wrong about so much?
Well, and very often, right about a lot too.
And but very often people who aren't doctors have been righter about things.
Like what would be an example of that?
I would think this country did not allow for natural immunity to be considered, and I know this is a subject dear to your heart.
Patrick Bet-David is fed up with the woke left, in particular people such as Bill Maher and Seth MacFarlane. They actually had a debate about things that were happening back in 2020 that are going to be said over and over again throughout this video, even though, you know, the platform doesn't like that very much. But they're said over and over again, the things that happened back in 2020. You know what I'm talking about. Bill Maher and Seth MacFarlane had this debate on, was it too much? And did we force too many things on certain people? And Patrick Bet-David is just having none of it. He's not having any of the theatrics. He's tired of it all, and he just puts it all to bed, and he does a great job at doing so. Let's check out this clip here from Patrick Bet-David over on the Valuetainment Podcast, reacting to Bill Maher and Seth MacFarlane having this debate that's, in my opinion, just a bit performative, and we'll get into why later on.
Rob, did you see the Seth MacFarlane debate with Bill Maher on the vaccine? Did you see that?
Yeah.
What'd you think about it?
I loved it because, well, two things. A, I got to see, like, I've been around Seth MacFarlane at a nightclub.
Yeah.
He was drinking Jack Daniels. Really cool guy. Really generous. But to see that, you know, they're both obviously liberals. For him to have that point of view, and for them to actually have the conversation and it not become no, you're wrong, and then the conversation stop. At least I got to.
How long is the longest one, Rob? Can you see what do you have right there?
6:41.
What's the one above it? They're all 6:41.
Except for this 30-second clip.
Play
right
the
here.
30-second one. See what it is. Let's see what the 30-second one is. Go ahead. Play this clip here.
But tell me what we disagree on when you do real time, and we'll try to make that the topic. Because I'd love to, as everything.
I think, I mean, look, I think we disagree on the fact that I think that the public health infrastructure, despite being absolutely inadequate prior to COVID, did as good a job as they could have done during COVID. And it pisses me the fuck off when I see people shit on them.
I see it must, because you like steered it all the way back to that again. But tell me what we disagree on.
That is pretty wild to say that.
That's just that
they
we
did a good job during COVID, even though it was inadequate pre-COVID.
Do you think he's getting Pat? Does he have to say that? You think, or he genuinely in his heart feels that? Because this is Seth MacFarlane. This is a professional actor. He's in that community. He's in that space. What do you think, Tom? You had to look like
they're all brainwashed. That's what I think. I think they're all brainwashed, and I think they're very stubborn. And whenever they're pretty obviously proven wrong, you know, even a lot of leftists out there, people like Joe Rogan, Russell Brand, these guys, they're not right wingers. You know, they're not going to just go along with groupthink and just say everything that the right wing is saying. They're leftists, you know, or they used to be. They're not anymore because they're not allowed to be. But a lot of their views are left leaning, and they're out here saying things that are the complete opposite of people like Seth MacFarlane and everybody in Hollywood and everything like that. Those people are so brainwashed because they can't get jobs. And I'm not saying Seth MacFarlane can't get a job, but that whole group of people that he hangs around and everything, they can't get jobs. They can't, you know, get spots in a movie or get TV shows like Bill Maher has with Real Time with Bill Maher. They can't get those things unless they have certain beliefs. And that's been well documented. We had this James O'Keefe thing that just came out yesterday. That's on the top of my mind as an example of somebody very high up at Disney getting caught at a dinner or something saying that we're not looking to hire white males. You know, they're basically not considering white males for any high up positions or any positions at all. So if you don't hold those same beliefs, and that's not even a belief thing, that's just a skin color thing. That's just an example that's on the top of my mind. If you don't have the beliefs of, oh yes, everything that the government did in 2020 was great, lockdown's great, jab, great, everything's great, and we actually should have had more. You know, if you don't have that stance, you're not going to get these jobs. And once they're proven wrong, they're so stubborn that they refuse to admit that they are wrong and that what the government did was wrong or maybe not like completely correct. We have this on both sides. This is not just a left thing. It is very much a left thing as of late because they've been wrong about a ton of things, and they very much do exist in a cult, and the cult just doesn't admit when they're wrong, you know, and they don't actually analyze facts or evidence or anything. They kind of just have what the cult thinks, and no matter what the facts or evidence says, they're just going to go what the cult leader says that they should that they should say. But the right has this too. We see this with the Daily Wire stuff and Ben Shapiro. with Tucker Carlson going on Joe Rogan and saying, you know, the bombing of Japan in World War II, it might not have been the best thing. You know, in general, nuking innocent civilians is probably not great, right? And then Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire and the neocons out there like Dave Rubin and all these guys, they have meltdowns because Tucker Carlson said nuking innocents is bad. And it's like, okay, you exist in a cult. If you're having a meltdown about saying that nuking innocent people is bad, then you're in a cult and you're brainwashed. Same thing goes for Bill Maher and Seth MacFarlane. They're brainwashed and they're very, very stubborn as well.
I'm not saying he's getting
why don't you
paid
do
for it.
this, but Rob? Why don't you go play the 6-minute clip, but just don't play the whole 6 minutes and just play the first go ahead and play this clip and maybe fast forward a little bit. Go ahead.
But then why are doctors wrong about so much?
Well, they're right about a lot too.
But very often people who aren't doctors have been righter about things.
Like what would be an example of that?
I would think this country did not allow for natural immunity to be considered. And I know this is a subject dear to your heart.
Horrible
like
camera
even if you had the disease, you still had to get
Yeah, not even just natural immunity. I feel like this specific topic is so bored. Like all of you know, you know like what I'm going to say. But Bill Maher even omits this obvious thing of actually just being healthy, physically healthy, you know? Like just go outside, go for walks, go for runs, lift weights, eat some healthy food that's not just chips and cookies all the time. And you'll be a lot less likely to get really sick, even when you get sick, you know? And that's not just with this particular disease. That's with any disease. If you're the healthier you are, the less likely you are to have really, really bad effects from the diseases. Of course, it can still happen if you're healthy, but it's a lot less likely, you know? And I don't want to turn this into health class, but whenever you're working out, whenever you're exercising and you're sweating, you're basically giving yourself a fever to like burn off the same things that your body gives you a fever for. You know, you're getting this elevated temperature, you're burning off all the bad things inside of you that make you sick. So it's a lot less likely to get sick in the first place. Anyway, I have to skip over a little bit of this because they talk about some things that I can't play. I don't feel comfortable playing. You'll still get the gist though. And I want to skip over to where Patrick Bet-David kind of gives his assessment on this Bill Maher versus Seth MacFarlane whole debate. And it's a really, really good assessment. He was on fire in this video for sure. Let's check this out.
A grudge is what? Hardcore betrayal. That's permanent.
Forever.
Mm-hmm. Set that aside, right? Let's set that aside. We're not going to talk about, well, why don't you go and apologize to him? No, bro, that's betrayal, okay?
Bye.
That is gone. All right. Let's put the other grudge as what? You're offended. Cool. All right, let's put that over here. Let's put the one in middle. Disrespected and did something that was a real stupid thing that one or the other person did and they apologize, right? How long can we go with a grudge?
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
2 years, 2.5 years, 3, I don't know. It ain't 50 years, okay? So what's the point here? Dude, America's so sick and tired of holding grudges against the other side. They want to sit down and say, dude, I don't hate you as much as you think I do. Yeah, you and I had different things with vaccine. Why do we let the mainstream media make me think you're a horrible person? Why do we think the mainstream media make me think that you're an idiot for not taking a vaccine? You know what, bro? I effed up. Yeah, I effed up too. All right, cool. You want to have a drink here? Let's smoke a joint. And that's what Bill Maher is doing here, right? Yeah.
I agree with Patrick Bet-David here. I know a lot of you are going to disagree as well. You know, a lot of you love Patrick Bet-David, so maybe you'll agree just because it's him talking. But I know that a lot of you disagree with these sentiments, you know, that we should not be as angry at the other side about this certain particular situation as we are. I think both sides, for the most part, are just trying to do what is best. They're not trying to... Yes, the left has a lot of cultists out there. The majority of the population, though, that was in favor of lockdowns, jabs, stuff like that, they're not hardcore leftists. They're just trying to do what's best, you know? And there's a lot of people on both sides that to this day keep up this discourse that is so hateful towards the other side that nothing productive can be done. Every single time I see an athlete die, that's young, like a current athlete or an actor or something, there's always people from the right who are still trying to push the same narrative, the same agenda, and make the same point that's been made 1,000,000 times over that we all understand. And they comment under the tweet of the person's death being announced, and they ask if he was jabbed. They asked if he got the jab. You know, all these, it's the meme, you know, that the leftists make fun of everybody for now. of, jabs, ? Every single time someone dies. And it's just, it's not productive in any way. Everybody can see the facts. Everybody can see the evidence now. How you choose to analyze it and how you choose to interpret that facts and those pieces of evidence, that's up to you. If you still can't see that forcing those things on people was a bad idea objectively, then you're never going to see. No matter how many times you comment under someone's death and asked if they were jabbed or not, it's not going to make the difference. The point has been made. And if you're not able to recognize what the truth is, then you're never going to be able to recognize it. That is past us now. Like, it's time to move forward into more important things. Like I said, everybody who is going to understand and is going to accept the truth has done it already. It's done. Anybody who refuses to accept it, they will never come over to our side. And there's no reason for them to, unless we have a whole nother 2020 situation happen again, and then they have to live through it again, and then maybe there's an opportunity there. But we're past it now. It's 2024. It's about to be 2025 in 6 months, less than 6 months. We're past it. It's gone. And that alone should tell you that it was all nonsense. The fact that we're past it. But like I said, if you don't think it's nonsense yet, you're never going to. So we can stop with the hateful discourse, and I know a lot of people are going to get mad at that, saying, no, they wouldn't let me see my grandma and, during 2020 or whatever in a nursing home. And I understand you're angry about it. It's just not productive though. You got to be able to control your emotions. Are you an adult? Are you a child? Control your emotions a little bit and stop being a piece of shit. Like that's just trash human behavior to try to push your agenda at this point, especially after the point has been made a million times. Try and push your agenda on, use people's deaths to push your agenda. It's trash behavior, dude.
If America can go for too long holding a grudge. I don't think it's a natural thing that we have in our bodies. Some of us, again, what's betrayal? You can't, snake. I saw something the other day, a snake betrays you and then they shed and then they may look a little bit better, but they're still a snake.
Yeah.
They're still going to betray you. If you keep forgiving a snake in your life, you're the moron, okay? That guy's DNA is to betray you consistently over and over and over again. But for everybody else, in this community, that guy's a Democrat. So guess where Seth lives in? He lives in Hollywood.
100%.
What does Hollywood look like?
Oh, God.
Hollywood is him. They're invited to the same parties. They're on the tabloids. They're on all the magazines. They're being talked about. You're in that space. The managers, the CAA, the WME, all that stuff. He is in that community. What do you expect him? What do you think the people around him believe? The same exact thing he believes in. What is Bill Maher on? He's sitting there debating, conversations, challenging all this other stuff. The fact that we're having these conversations, as crazy as this sounds, we are getting closer to each other. This doesn't mean we're going to be 100% over it. It just means we're making progress. This is a very good sign when you see these two guys talking to one another. Were you going to say something?
I agree. It's not a really good sign. I don't think it's as good of a sign as Patrick Bet-David claims it is, but it's good that people like Bill Maher are existing. Bill Maher, let me backtrack a little bit. You have to watch what you say, man. The comment section, y'all go crazy sometimes just because of a little bitty misspeak. But what I mean by that is there's a lot of leftists out there. Most leftists, I would say 90% plus of leftists, would never even have these conversations. They only want to exist in their echo chambers. So the fact that Bill Maher, yes, he gets embarrassed a lot on his own show all the time. In fact, I've covered a lot of those instances where he gets embarrassed because he just doesn't know as much as he thinks he does. At least he's willing to sit down with people who disagree with him consistently and get challenged on his beliefs. It's good because most leftists, like I said, 90% or more, will never do that. They like to exist in their echo chamber and that's it. They don't like to step outside because their ideas never hold up when they step outside. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about Patrick Bet-David and the Valuetainment Crew's assessment of this Bill Maher versus Seth MacFarlane debate. What do you think about the whole thing? What was your assessment of it? Do you agree with me? I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to disagree with what I was saying about the jab stuff and that we shouldn't be as hateful as we are. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I'm open to getting my mind changed. Change my mind in the comments if you feel like it needs to be changed. Let me know what you're thinking about this whole Patrick Bet-David and Bill Maher situation.